It was a particularly good Tesla day and a particularly good day for the markets as well. Everything, all good news, really nothing negative to report unless you happen to be Donald Trump. Everybody else was pretty happy today. So let's take a look at what took place, and we'll go into a lot of detail today. I hope you'll enjoy it. If you do, choose to like now or like later if this is the kind of content that helps you out or that you just enjoy listening to. This is Randy Kirk, in case you didn't know. And this is what we do every Friday. Every Friday night, we take a look at the week in review, in particular with regard to Tesla and the stock. And then on Sunday night, I do an analysis of what's coming up in the week ahead. I call it Monday morning. And then in the middle of the week, we have a midweek look also on Wednesdays. So 3 times a week, we take a look at the markets, we take a look at Tesla, we take a look at the stock values, and try to make sense of all of it. Not that commonly there's a lot of sense to be made, but we do our best. We look at available information and see what we can do. In addition to liking, you might want to take a really hard look at subscribing right now and being notified. We've had some amazing stuff this last week on Optimus, and that will continue tomorrow. In the morning, we'll have a video with John and Scott, I believe it is, and then on Sunday with just Scott, talking more and more about how the Optimus thing is going to play out and how it's going to work. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm doing one on what is it? I can't remember now. Well, if I think of it, I'll tell you later. All right, let's, and then join Patreon. We always are looking for more folks to sign up for Patreon. So let's get into the basics. So the big deal today, probably the reason the market was up, probably the reason bonds were down, or at least the 10-year, and probably the reason that Tesla was up as strongly as it was, all had to do with the PCE. So this is the statistic about inflation that the Fed cares the most about, is the PCE. And so it is measuring what people are actually purchasing and what's happening to those prices over the course of time. I had a great guest on a few weeks ago who put me in, Joe Munaretto. You can go back and look at that video. It's still a really good video to take a look at. And he took me through some stuff I had never known existed. And now I'm going to take you through some of that since Joe showed us how to do it. And I'm going to share the screen here. Let's see, we've got to share the screen. I always have trouble with sharing the screen. I don't know what the problem is. Share, and here we go. All right. If you want to take a look at this information, it is called Truflation without an E, Truflation, Truflation. And you can get this information on a daily basis or once a week. I'll probably be bringing it up frequently when there is a CPI report or a PPI, which is usually about the same time, and then once a month when the CPE comes out. So this is Truflation, and they're taking a look at things on an ongoing basis based on their information, and I think it's more fun to look at it this way. So first of all, let's look at the overall total. They're showing that right now inflation is at 4%. So that would be based on a combination of the things that they're following. We're sitting at about 4% right now. But look at the trend line. I hope this is all dark enough and bright enough for you to see. But look at this trend line. Look how far it's come down. There's a little bit of an uptick, a teeny tiny uptick at the end. I don't think that you that amounts to enough to care about as we go into April. So all the trends, all the trending information seems to be down. This would certainly be an indication of why the CPE came in so low today. It came in at 3%. Now, recognize that the CPE is a month old. So it's looking at February information, not even March information. So it's coming in really, really late. So the trends might be continuing at that rate of 3%. Now that was the core amounts. The overall number was still over 4. So it seems to be kind of in line with this report. Now, interesting, what you can do if you go onto Trueflation is you can move down here and you can look by category. So you can make your own decisions about which categories you care the most about. But let's look at food and non-alcoholic beverage is only at 2.23 at this point. Look how much it's fallen all the way down here. So that is a huge fall. Housing is one that's staying a little rich. I've mentioned multiple times, we're going into the spring. This is when housing prices, when people start looking for houses. There's no houses on the market. There's no supply. When there's no supply and the demand goes up, it's very unlikely that prices are going to continue in this direction. Well, let's put it this way. There may not be increases, but there's probably not going to be decreases either. So look for the housing price situation to flatten out, maybe even go up just a little bit. Rentals, there are quite a bit of rentals on the market right now. We'll be watching that category more closely in the future. Transport, look at this. It's only up 1% year over year. So that's a very big indicator. This is a leading indicator. This would indicate that less freight is being moved, or that enough trucks have been put on the road, enough trains have been put on there, enough containers have been created, enough ships are out there. In other words, there's enough supply right now that the price has been driven down. This would be another one of those boom bust scenarios that I've talked so much about. If you'd like to know more about boom bust, I'm going to be talking a lot about the boom bust thing, I think, on Monday. Now we get to utilities. That's one that's staying way up there. It is winter. This has been a particularly cold winter in the West. I don't know, some of the rest of the country's had some cold days as well. But we'll see what happens on this one as we get out of season. Let's see if that trend, it is trending down, but let's see if that trend continues. Health is doing really, really well at 2.34. Household durables, that's still up there. So we'll see whether or not that, but it is trending down. Alcohol and tobacco is trending up just a tiny bit. Maybe these are people that are, I don't know, I won't go there. Clothing and footwear is right about the same as the average right now. A little shocking there. I would have thought that clothing and footwear would be down. Communications is down at 2.2, so the Fed should be happy with that one. Education is only at 3.23. Fed should be reasonably happy with that one. Recreation is one that I'm expecting to start ticking up. You can see that it's been really, really, really flat over this entire period of April to this year's March. Maybe slightly up, but this could go up as we get back into season. And then other is at 4.3, which makes sense in the overall market. Okay, so that is that report. Let me stop sharing and get back here where you can see all of me anyway. Oh, and also see the books. So it reminds you that if you haven't bought the Elon Musk mission yet, you should buy that. And if you're an entrepreneur or you manage a business, you should buy the Elon Musk method, where I try to get into what makes Elon Musk good at what he does and how you can use that to run your own business or to manage somebody else's business. Okay, back on track here. Let me get my notes. Whoops, I got to pull those up. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, bear with me for just one more second. Okay, here we are. Okay, number two, well, bonds did go down. 10-year bonds went down radically. And 2-year bonds and 2-month bonds both went up. So we have a larger now inversion again. This is not good. I mentioned this on Wednesday. Let me mention it again for those of you who didn't tune in on Wednesday. I think I'm beginning to get it. This is a very, very, very unique circumstance. Like, unlike anything that, I'm not sure that we can really use this as some kind of a way that we can look historically and then make some judgments. So let me explain it. Right now, you can buy a 10-year bond at 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. I think it dipped under 4.5, like let's call it 4.4. So you can buy that 10-year bond at 4.4. Most of us believe inflation is going to go down. The Fed's going to make that happen. But even if it doesn't, I think inflation is going down. Therefore, most people would think that that yield is going to go down. Well, if that yield is going to go down, then the underlying value of the stock is going to, of the bond is going to go up. So you can lock in 4.35 or 4.4 right now for 10 years and hold it for 10 years if you want to, or you can get in there and get that good yield. And a year from now, 6 months from now, 18 months from now, you might be able to sell the underlying bond for a nice gain. This is what I think is going on. This is what I think people should be thinking about in terms of Tesla. You have a solid blue chip in Tesla, and yet the potential for the gain is way bigger than the potential for the bonds. By the way, none of this is investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. This is for your entertainment only. Do you, as Steve Mark Ryan likes to say, do your own homework. This is my analysis, but it makes sense to me that if you're looking at locking in this market right now, locking in 4.4 and have a potential that it's going to, the underlying security is going to increase in the future, that seems like a pretty good deal for bonds and for Tesla. Now, what about the 2-year and the 2-month? Well, it just may be that nobody cares whether they can lock in a 2-month. And so the fact that, and so those are not getting as much activity. And so the yields on those are lower. And that's, you know, that is surprising. I'm sorry, higher. That's getting it backwards again. Those yields right now are almost, the 2-month is over 100 basis points higher. And the 2-year is over 5.5 higher again. So that inversion usually says recession. I don't think that's what it's saying right now. And I've said, you can look back at lots of videos where I say, I don't think there's going to be a recession. I don't see the signs. I don't see the cash not moving. I don't see the people going out of business in droves. I don't see unemployment numbers changing. Right now, I just can't see it. Okay. Next is maybe there's a little risk on coming back on. I've talked about this also. There's a lot of money, maybe record amounts of money. We'll look at what Kathy has to say next Friday. There's a lot of money on the sidelines, and the money on the sidelines tends to want to get back in active, finding something better than even 4.4 yields. So if that money's trying to find a better place to go, right now, one of the places it's going is into crypto. One of the places it's going into oil. So oil prices are creeping back up again. Supply seems to be a little bit less than it was a week ago. So there's a creeping up, but we're back down. We're back up into the 75s. So that's not good. That's bad for the economy. That's bad for the overall situation, but it is what it is. And that might be some risk money going back in, believing that as the economy improves, oil is going to be a good place to be. All right, let's talk about the good news at Tesla. Let's move into Tesla now. Well, Tesla went up 11, something like that today, and finished on the high for the week, finished on the high for the day, finished on a Friday at the high. Now, you know, historically, finishing on the high usually means it gets a good start in the morning. Finishing on a high on a Friday usually means a good start on Monday. But so much can happen on a weekend. And this weekend, there can be a lot happening. So let's take a look at the good news. All right, first of all, a lot of noise over Shanghai, a lot of noise in China. Rumors first that Shanghai is going to build a mega factory. A mega factory, of course, is where they build the mega packs. The mega factories, each mega factory, if it only does 40 total gigawatts of gigawatt hours of storage per year, is the equivalent of what they've already done in Austin and in Berlin. In other words, it's the equivalent of about 250,000 cars. Okay, so this JCPenney X warehouse is now producing a minimum of $20 million a day and maybe as much as $50 million a day in shipments out of that one little building. Now, there's a lot of buildings around it. We don't know what all those buildings do for, but we did a video last week with Bradford Ferguson where he showed what all these buildings are, but we don't know for sure what they do. But we do know that there's one building there building mega packs, and it's producing that kind of volume, that kind of sales. And we think it could be at 40 to 50% margins. We have really good reasons to believe that it's 40 to 50% margins. So if you're going to put another 40 gigawatt unit in Shanghai, then that would say, okay, maybe we're looking at another Austin first phase, Berlin first phase, new enterprise. So what do we have besides those rumors? Well, then yesterday there were some postings, some job postings looking for people to manage a megapack factory in Shanghai area, put out by, of course, Tesla. So that seemed to solidify in very clear terms that there's got to be a megapack factory in Shanghai. And then Elon's going over there. He's possibly he's trying, I guess, to get a meeting with chairman or president, I forget which way he says it, the Xi of China. And I guess maybe discuss a megapack factory, maybe discuss expansion of the existing. Maybe they have lots of other things on their mind that they need to talk about. And maybe he's going over there to also kind of break some champagne out over this new mega factory. In any case, the street is not giving any value to Lathrop, which is probably right now producing $10 million a day in profit. They're giving no value to that at all in the stock price. So if they start building another mega factory in Shanghai, I don't know that there's going to be a huge uptick in the stock because of that news. And the fact that the rumors were out didn't seem to have any effect. This is huge. This is a huge disconnect between retail buyers and the street right now. If you believe that this is true, which we have all it's clear that the mega factory is making a lot of units up there in Lathrop right now. It's clear that Elon has said he wants to get to 1 terawatt of energy storage products as fast as he possibly can. It's obvious that it's really quick to put these up because Lathrop went up in like 9 months. Now that was an existing tilt up, but I'm saying that in Shanghai right now, if in order to put that kind of a tilt up, it will be operational within 9 months if that's what they're going to do. So this is massive. This is huge. I'm also going to do a video that might be the one on Saturday. Maybe it's going to be on Monday or Tuesday on the energy ramp. I'm going to go into detail of where I think these factories are going to go, how quickly I think that's going to happen, and what it really means in terms of profits for Tesla going forward. Because this, again, this is arbitrage at its best. If you know something that the street doesn't, it's a reason to buy. I'm not a stock investment advisor. All right. So, in addition to all of that, CATL is building a battery plant right next to the Shanghai facility. And what do you think? Since we use CATL, Tesla uses CATL batteries to do even the ones in Lathrop, to do the megapacks in Lathrop, putting the factory over there by the Shanghai factory could be one more piece of evidence that we need that would say CATL is going to be supplying the factory there in Shanghai that is probably going to be built. So, that seems to be what's going on. All right. I'm also going to do a video on what's happening with CATL and what's happening with regard to lithium. So that would be another piece of huge news. The price of lithium is just falling off a cliff. It's down 50% from its highs. CATL has been in negotiations with all the automakers. This is their own press release. They've been in negotiation with all the automakers, lowering the cost of their batteries. They have now, apparently they're working on an agreement with Tesla to build another plant here in the United States, where it would be a joint venture, where Tesla would own the factory, but CATL would be licensing their technology and helping Tesla to build the batteries. And Tesla was in conversations with the administration, the US administration, discussing the details of putting that plant together, making sure that they would get the Inflation Reduction Act money as a result of that agreement, and talking about this going in Texas. Now, why would they put it in Texas? Oh, maybe to put it close to the Austin facility where they may be going to build what? Another mega pack plant. Of course they will. And I'll talk about the reasons why Austin is the perfect place to build another plant, why China is the perfect place. Anyway, that'll all be in that video. Then in addition, with these prices coming down on lithium and prices coming down on the batteries, that is going to increase Tesla's margins on their cars here, there, and everywhere, especially on the less expensive cars. What does that mean? They're also going to have a new, apparently a new chemistry that's less expensive and better. And this is another Tesla CATL item that is they're coming together on. This is something they're working on together. This is going to lower margins again. Increase margins, lower costs, increase margins. Hope I said that right earlier. Lower costs, increase margins. That's the video that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, Saturday. I'm going to be talking about where is there going to be a big surprise at earnings day with regard to Tesla's margins, which some pundits are putting at under 20%. Tesla themselves said they will not drop below 20%. And I'm going to suggest in this video that they're going to be above 20%. And I'm going to give a list of the reasons why. So watch for that video. That's tomorrow afternoon. All right, let's see here. So the other thing that's going to happen that might drive the price up on Monday is that the shipments are probably going to be better. The production is probably going to be better. The shipments are going to be better than the street is expecting. The street has been increasing all week, their expectations. They're now at around 421. Troy Tesla, I think, is at 424 or something like that. A lot of folks are suggesting it's going to be 430, 435 for shipments and maybe higher than that in terms of production. I'm going to suggest that with the large overhang of inventory at the end of the year, that the amount of shipments is going to be fairly close to the amount of production. And I'm putting that, both of those, at around 430 to 435. We don't know. Should I say 433,250? I mean, we don't know. And we're not going to, you can't, there's no pundit has any more information than Troy Tesla does. And so we all look at Troy and then we make our guesses from there. I'm just making my own, I'm giving a range, 430 to 435. I do not think it's in the 420s, regardless of what Troy says. Okay, sorry, Troy, you're great. I love what you do. All right, I'm also going to say that it doesn't, that Tesla told us to start looking at overall the overall corporate operating margins. And I'm saying, look for those later this month, look for those to be 17 to 18%. And there's a bunch of reasons for that, why it's still going to be that high, including better margins on the cars than anybody's expecting. And of course, all this new marginal money that's coming in from the energy sector, the energy storage sector, that's going to bump those up as well. The street is not expecting that. So I'm expecting between now and the earnings report, and/or if it doesn't happen between now and then, right after the earnings report, the stock is going to start its move to 300. So that's my crazy number. Take it or leave it. By the end of the year, we will be at 400, and by the end of next year, at least 700, unless, of course, they start selling robots. If they start selling Optimus anytime between now and the end of 2024, then the stock's going over 1,000. I think that's obvious, but I'm going to say it right now for the first time. Okay. All right. Let's go on from there. Let's see. All right. So the Tesla move today is mostly a response to the market. So it moved 4 times faster than the underlying NASDAQ, but it moved about the same as other growth stocks. I have my little method that I use for that, looking at a bunch of different growth stocks, mostly Cathie Wood type stocks, ARK investment type stocks. And I see them all moving in a pattern, just about the same, 5%, 4%, somewhere around there, the same as Tesla today. So it wasn't an outsized move for Tesla. So I don't think it was based on news. I think it was just based on market circumstances, the overall macro, as well as the mini macro of the growth stocks. Tesla we have not been able to change the narrative yet. Tesla is still seen as a growth stock. Therefore, it's risky. It's it's the number 1 stock in terms of the number of options that are being played. It's one of the number 1 stocks in terms of volatility. And so the conservative investors, it's difficult for them to be dealing with stocks with that much volatility. And therefore, it continues to be seen in their mind as a growth risk stock, as opposed to a blue chip with amazing growth potential, which is how I believe it should be viewed. Okay, I think that's it. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover today. I hope this was useful and that you liked it. If you did be sure to sign up for Patreon. This is not free. Putting this together, putting these shows together is not free. A lot of time, I have a team. I have to pay the team. It costs money to put this show together. If it's useful to you, $5 a month is the beginning number at Patreon. Love to have some $10 folks jump in. Thankfully, I've had, I think, 4 folks this week at the $5 level. There's also a $50 level if you really, really, really like what you're getting. Okay, so that's it for today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow and Sunday with some amazing shows. It's been great talking to you.